Continuing the poem from the 11th stanza, we can see that the poet talks about the big striptease and the crowding audience who have come to watch it. She addresses the people and says, "Gentlemen, ladies, these are my hands, my knees. I may be skin and bone. Nevertheless, I am the same identical woman." Okay, so the woman who has come back to life shows her hands and knees and addresses the people to look at them. I may be skin and bone. You may feel like I have been reduced to merely skin and bone, but don't worry, I am still the same identical woman I used to be before I died. The first time it happened, I was 10. It was an accident. The second time, I meant to last it out and not come back at all. I rocked shut as a seashell. They had to call and pick the worms of me like sticky pearls. So here we can see elements of confession being made. The poet confesses that the first time it happened, I was 10. So remember number 3, every 10 years, once this repeats. The first time it happened, I was 10. So that was the first decade. And she says that it was an accident. Okay, it just coincidentally happened and somehow she saved herself from death. The second time, she says she meant to do it. She meant to last it out and she meant to not come back at all. And what did she do the second time? She rocked shut as a seashell. So just like a seashell is closed, she shut herself into it. Probably she shut herself into a chamber which did not have any air circulation. They had to call and pick the worms off me like sticky pearls. So here she brings the image of the pearl residing inside the seashell. So the people outside had to call and strive really hard to get her off and bring her back to life. Pick the worms off me. So the reference to worms is to death. She had almost died and even her body had been eaten away by worms. Just then people came and rescued her. So these 3 stanzas show that the first time it happened, it was an accident. It was only 10 years. The second time she meant to do it and how she did it. Next she proceeds. There is a very calm statement. Dying is an art like everything else. I do it exceptionally well. So here she draws in a metaphor. Dying is an art. Like everything else, I do it exceptionally well. So she compares dying to an art and herself to an artist, an exceptionally talented artist who is able to manage to do the art well. And then to rhyme with the well, in the next stanza there are a few lines. I do it so it feels like hell. I do it so it feels real. I guess you could say I have a call. So dying is an art which she does so exceptionally. Why does she do it? I do it because I feel like hell inside. Why do I do it? Because it feels so real. I feel like death is so real and I want to snatch it. And then she says, just like you have got a call to be a priest or a doctor or a teacher, I guess you could say I have a call to be the artist of death. I have got a call to die. Then she explains how she feels doing this art. It's easy enough to do it in a cell. It's easy enough to do it and stay put. It's the theatrical comeback in broad day to the same place, the same face, the same brute amused shout, "A miracle!" that knocks me out. So she explains to the reader that it's no big deal to die. It's very easy to do it in a cell, in a chamber, in a room. It's very easy to do it and remain calm. But then what attracts her the most is to make the theatrical comeback in broad daylight. Okay, the moment she is about to die, people come and save her, and the way she comes back to life is so dramatic. And the dramatic performance, she tells it to be the theatrical comeback. And she comes back to the same place, the same face, and the same brute amused shout. So she says that before the event of death and after, she remains the same. The place remains the same, the face remains the same, and her identity remains the same. But the same brute amused shout. Okay, the people crowding around her, trying to save her from death, what do? They shout in an amused manner, "A miracle." So these two lines defy the voyeuristic crowd that gather around and watch gladly the theatrical comeback of this walking miracle of the lady Lazarus. But she says that knocks her out. She does not like the brute amused shout because it obstructs her from performing her art. Death as a performance, as an art. Now, if it is a theatrical performance, if death is a performance of art, she says that it cannot be given away free of cost. There should be a charge, there should be a ticket to be sold, and that is the image in the next few stanzas. There is a charge for the eyeing of my scars. There is a charge for the hearing of my heart. It really goes. And there is a charge, a very large charge for a word or a touch or a bit of blood or a piece of my hair or my clothes. So the commodification of the human body as well as the objectification of the female body, both of these are clubbed together in this mention of the charge, the cost that you have to pay, the price that you have to pay for viewing my process of resurrection. There is a charge if you want to see my scars. There is a charge if you want to listen to the pulse rate. It really goes. Don't worry, my pulse rate has come back. I'm surviving. And there is a charge, a very large charge. Okay, the price is too high if you want to spare a word or a touch with me. Or if you want a bit of blood, or if you want to touch a little bit of my hair or my clothes, it is too costly. I'm too expensive for you. You can see the alliteration: hearing, heart, charge, touch, bit, blood. So death as an art in performance and the voyeuristic crowd as the audience are juxtaposed, whereby she gains power over them. The other people who have come to save her from life actually have to pay to her so that they can see her come back miraculously from death.